Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. And today, I am wearing this Britishy Georgie jacket because I feel bratty. Not necessarily because I'm low dough, but because I feel like I'm crazy. I had some oats today. I missed them. Hashtag spawn. No, I'm just kidding. But I had these ones. Farmer, as we know, because I'm a horse and it's the horse year. And now I feel like I want to run 10 miles after having them. I don't know what is up with oats, but they are literally so stimmy to me. It is crazy. And I'm just kind of anxious today in general. So I just felt like, let's just go for it. Let's burn off some anxious energy. I'm not like bad or anything. I'm just like a little like, woo, I'm a little high strung. But I figured let's attack a stalker. Okay, so we're dealing with a level 2 zombie in this video. We're back with more. You'll see. You'll see. We're going to get into it. I haven't even watched anything. I just know that like all his takes are awful. So let's go ahead and get into it now.
If you continue to leave emotional eating, using food to fix your feelings, using food as medicine, you are probably not going to be able to continue to keep the weight off if you do that.
Good point. Wrong scenario, to quote my friend Kiki Palmer, who I wish was my friend. People can't keep weight off because that's just not what bodies do. It's not what they like to do. And to lose weight and then stay smaller, you have to do increasingly more extreme things to keep yourself from gaining weight. So that's not like emotion. That's a really good way of reframing, making it someone's fault that their body's just doing what it naturally does. So like, kudos for that, I guess. That's just not what bodies like to do. And I really hate this thing of like, what we imagine is emotional eating, because it's not a bad thing to sometimes like eat through a feeling. Like that's, you know, a totally acceptable thing to have in your tool belt. What you don't want is it to be your only thing. I would understand that. Yeah, you don't want that to be the only way you can express your anger, your frustration, your sadness, your happiness, whatever. Like you need to be able to find a combination of things that's going to help you manage your feelings. But this emotional eating, it's not even what he's kind of painting at. Like, you know, we have this idea of emotional eating as like someone sad eats some ice cream whilst crying. And actually, that's not, sometimes it might look like that, but that's not even what he's talking about. He's talking about kind of letting not your logical brain pick what you're going to eat. But that's just not how we manage our food choices. It is a little bit of like, what do you fancy? Listening to your body. What are you in the mood for? What do you have access to? Big thing. What can you afford? Unfortunately, big thing. What have you got later on that you need to, you know, plan for? Are you going to bed soon, so you don't want to be too full for bed? Are you going to have a big day, so you want a nice big breakfast? There's all these things that should be coming into food decisions, and this guy wants you to ignore all of that and just eat for maximum weight loss. And that is thankfully not his call. Please continue to eat differently to how he's prescribing. What a goose. But also it's, you know, let's not blame people for bodies just doing what they naturally do as if it's a problem. Let our bodies do what they must. They often know better than we. That was poetic. Ooh, the poem.
If you continue to leave emotional eating...
Okay, that was really awful. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry for making you guys watch that. I think okay. We're going to do some live attachment style work, okay? Because I'm not going to be avoidant anymore. I already haven't really been, but I'm using these experiences as a form of therapy. What was I feeling in that moment? I was feeling so irritated, so bored, So like, oh my fucking God. Just, oh my God, he's so fucking lame. That's what I was feeling in my body, like on a visceral level. I was also feeling very angry at what he was saying. And I was trying to like zen through. I was like, just be zen, just breathe. I reacted to Abby yesterday and it was tough. It was a little tougher. This one was more like boring. But I feel just, I felt like, oh my gosh. Like, I wonder if there's this tendency. I wonder if you guys ever feel this way too. But sometimes I feel like there's a tendency where, like, when I'm trying to control my anger, I'll, like, fold my energy in on myself. And I don't think that's healthy to do because it makes me more anxious. And it's like, I'm just really doing that work of, like, don't allow inner resistance like that. Like, I need to stop judging. I feel like I judge how I feel a lot. And I think it's too much, like, at least internally. So, thank you, Martin J. Dixon, for teaching me that in that moment. But let's go ahead and rewatch this. I'm sorry.
Eating, using food to fix your feelings, using food as medicine, you are probably not going to be able to continue to keep the weight off if you do that.
Okay, so I don't know everything in this video, but from what I could gather, I think that he's talking about a vanity context. So this is somebody who is already relatively athletic, already relatively in shape, already doing the damn thing. He's probably somebody in terms of my channel who's lecturing or telling people how to engage in a Lana style cut. So Lana era style. So that's a deep cut, an obsession style vanity cut rather than a Kesha shallow or backrooms type, right? So when you are doing that, when you're in a deep vanity cut, you do have to be focused and you really cannot be that emotional. Like, you will have emotions, especially for my emotional girly pops and boily pops. It's tough when you are doing a deep cut like that. Like, it was so like tough for me. I had to literally like rewire my brain. And it was how I got over my avoidance because I had to. It was that like spiritually difficult to do because you have to say no to yourself a lot. It's a lot of discipline. And he's absolutely right. If you are like emotionally eating in that deep vanity cut, you will fail. Absolutely. And you have to be very careful with that too, because you can upsize drastically if you're not careful. I highly suggest a reverse diet after. You have to think about it really difficultly. Like, people think of a deep cut as like, it's just the cut. No, it's also after. So when you finish the cut and you start a reverse diet process, or you start to have more food, that is the second half of the vanity era of that deep cut. So you have to think of it in terms of the first half is the actual cut. The second half is actually getting out of it, especially when it's deep because it's challenging as fuck. Okay? It's tough. Tough as nails, but there are faster results and that kind of thing. But what good is it if you lose them? What was the point? So you got to be disciplined, period. So I agree with what he's saying, at least on its surface. Okay.
Good point. Wrong scenario, to quote my friend, Kiki Palmer, who I wish was my friend. People can't keep weight off because that's just not what body.
So that's not true. So our bodies are basically designed to deal with famine and abundance and all these things. If you go back to our history as human beings from a long ass time ago, pre-civilization, all that stuff, our bodies are completely designed to be able to store cows and release cows very easily. It is super, super, super important to our survival. We would not be here today if our bodies were not able to do that, period. So this is very stupid, just at its very baseline level. This is the dumbest thing you could ever say at all. Now, what I will say is, in today's society, particularly in Western civilization, we are not taught to be disciplined, particularly with our emotions. So many people are taught that emotions are everything and we must dive into all of them all the time. And that emotional truth is ultimate truth. All of our subjective experiences are completely what we must pay attention to all the time, and objectivity doesn't matter. That's taught a lot in Western culture. It's especially taught in American culture so much, like to a point where it's absolutely insane here. Because I do feel, honestly, I do think Americans are the most emotional country in the entire world, which that is crazy when you think about it. But regardless, the point is, we worship at the altar of emotion in the West. And so he is speaking out against that as like a vanity weight coach. You're basically trying to put that cultural value onto our bodies. So just because it's emotionally difficult to have restraint or to have discipline doesn't mean that our bodies are not designed for that. It's two different things. And even if we're in an obesogenic environment, and so it takes some emotional discipline to not be obese in the United States, for example, it is not anything that is not worth doing, or no? It's worth it to not be obese. So just because it might take discipline to not upsize after downsizing doesn't mean that our bodies can't. It means that we don't tend to value it as a culture. We tend to reinforce upsizing as a culture, and we tend to enforce obesity as a culture, as well as the emotion is the law of the land as a cultural value too. So there's a lot of layers to this, and it is not physical. It is cultural, it is emotional, it is all those things. And we are taught that our subjective experience is the most important thing in the world. That's what we're taught. So if I feel uncomfortable because I'm not having ice cream today, then I should have the ice cream because I shouldn't feel uncomfortable. It's also very hedonistic. So there are a lot of philosophical levels to this that people don't think about very much at all. And I think that's why they get caught up in this is moralizing, da 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 da. I'm not really necessarily moralizing it, but I think it's important to understand Martin is moralizing this. So when they do that, I have to argue it in that way too. We can talk philosophically if we want. That's fine. I will hit you wherever you're at. So I'll talk about it physically, I'll talk about it spiritually, I'll talk about it philosophically. There's a lot of different aspects that we could talk about this. You're still wrong.
Bodies do. It's not what they like to do. And to lose weight and then stay smaller, you have to do increasingly more extreme things to keep yourself from gaining weight.
So this is completely false, and this is very reinforcing of the reductive. I don't know if he understands that. I will squash that right away. So your brain adjusts. I've told you guys so many times, it has a lot to do with dopamine and serotonin. Our technology at this point, we cannot measure dopamine and serotonin in the brain, so it can only be a theory. We can only measure it in our bloodstreams and stuff like that. So you have to kind of figure out what's working for you, how sensitive you are to these things. Do you have a toxic ritualistic past or present? Right, you're going to have issues with these reward circuitries in the brain if you've abused them for that long. So in terms of especially vanity downsizing, serotonin and dopamine is really, really important. And your body will lower serotonin in the brain so that you will have more as a form of survival. Obviously, it wants to prime your body to upsize. It's like, okay, we're in a little bit of a famine here. So let's prime the brain for having a lot of cows when food is available. But if you were to keep eating that much, eventually the serotonin will go whoosh, way up. And then your brain will be like, stop it. Because that's what happens too. Because there is such a thing as too much. So again, with people within BINGE, that serotonin signaling can be fried. The dopamine signaling can be fried. Everything can be fried. If you have nutrient deficiencies, it can all be effed up. If you have other problems, like if you have ADHD, for example, that affects dopamine signaling, which will inherently have a relationship to serotonin signaling because dopamine and serotonin are opposed in the brain. So if you have an issue with one, you're going to have an issue with the other, yada, yada, yada. The point is, if you maintain and you hold steady, then you will be fine. You do not have to do more extreme things. You often just have to stabilize for 8 weeks. That's what I did. And I'm fine now. It's actually easier and easier and easier to maintain. It is like breathing. So you do have to do the work. You have to set yourself up for that. And you have to have discipline. People don't want to hear that. They don't like it. They don't want a reverse diet. They don't want to have discipline. They don't want to count after they're done downsizing. They don't want to be stable. I get it. But do you want to succeed or not? Do you want to let your brain heal or not? That's a question. It's a different question. The whole point is, it is a choice. It is a choice. It's a choice you're making. And it does require discipline. So he's wrong. Discipline is not DIS ordered, but discipline is required for it to get easier. If you keep going up and down and, I'm going to do this, but then I'm not, but then I'm going to do this, and blah, 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 blah. If you start like flipping out and doing all these different things, your brain will not stabilize and it will seem harder. And the more you do it, the crazier it will get. Especially if you're doing it in a toxic ritualistic way, then you start to fry the system. If you are a normal person that doesn't have these issues, just understand if you do a deep vanity cut, your brain is primed to upsize for a while. So you need to maintain, and you will deal with food noise, and you will have to say no to maintain. And I will always argue not to do it 50,000 times, like a lot of gym bros try to normalize. One and done, period. One and done, period. Just stop. Like, stop playing with yourself in that way. It's just obnoxious to me. It's very obnoxious, and it's not good for you. It isn't good. Anyways, and I have to say it just because I have to more and more. If you're trying to stabilize your serotonin and dopamine in the brain, don't drink. Be sober. We love sobriety on the channel. We love it.
So that's not like emotion. That's a really good way of reframing, making it someone's fault that their body's just doing what it naturally does.
No. The body naturally upsizes and downsizes. Just stop.
So, like, kudos for that, I guess. That's just not what bodies like to do. And I really
take accountability.
I hate this thing of, like, what we imagine is emotional eating, because it's not.
What we imagine?
It's not a bad thing to sometimes, like, eat through a feeling.
So if you do it one time, you don't have an E followed by the letter D. If you do it 50,000 times, then you do. It's definitely a gradient. If you start to get a whole ritual around it, it starts to become this huge thing. It starts to be playing bingo, BINGEs. If you got all that going on, it's a bad thing. And you have to set a hard boundary, especially if you've struggled with these issues. And even if you're even if you're just obese, you've gone too far. Even if you don't have E followed by the letter D, if you are obese, you've gone too far. Congratulations. You've overdone it. It's time to stop. Duh.
Like, that's, a totally acceptable thing to have in your tool belt. What you don't want is it to be your only thing. I would understand that. Yeah, you don't want that to be the only way you can express your anger, your frustration, your sadness, your happiness, whatever. Like, you need to be able to find a combination of things.
Okay, so there's a little bit of a grain of truth to that.
That's going to help you manage your feelings. But this emotional eating, it's not even what he's kind of painting out. Like, we have this idea of emotional eating as like someone sad eats some ice cream whilst crying. And actually,
You could still count ice cream though. If you want to be super dead ass about it, you could.
that's not, sometimes it might look like that, but that's not even what he's talking about. He's talking about kind of letting not your logical brain pick what you're going to eat. But that's just not how we manage.
You can temporarily. You can rely on willpower for 12 weeks. He would fucking hate me. He would hate my guts so bad. Also, too, you get tolerance to it. So even when you do the reverse dye, because you have more cows to work with, it's easier. So it's like a morale booster. It helps you. But you have to be about it. If you're doing a deep vanity cut, you have to be about it. You don't have to, though. You really don't. I'm telling you guys, you don't have to. But I want you to succeed if you're going to do it. And I want you to do it once if you're going to do it. I don't want you to do it 20 million times. So, I mean, I'm trying to comment on what the original poster is talking about versus what he's talking about, which it's like, okay, so you're craving ice cream, so you have the ice cream. Okay, I tell you, you could still count it. You could still maintain. You don't have to drastically upsize. That's not extreme. That's not hard to do. It's not. It's just you're being a child. You're being a toddler. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Our food choices. It is a little bit of like, what do you fancy? Listening to your body. What are you in the mood for? What do you have access to? Big thing. What can you afford? Unfortunately, big thing.
I think a lot of this stuff is very obvious, though. It's without saying. I don't think that the original poster was saying anything about any of this.
What have you got later on?
And if you're doing a deep vanity cut, it does technically cost more. It does. It's an investment, which is not a bad thing either. It tends to cost more. It doesn't have to, but like I said, you have to, if you go for it with no diet culture bullshit, you are just like doing it. Holy crap. I couldn't do it. But if you can, you can, It's up to you. It's up to what you want to do. Vanity is voluntary. If you're fat, if you're as big as him, you don't have to do all that to downsize. So he's full of shit. Absolutely.
That you need to, plan for. Are you going to bed soon, so you don't want to be too full for bed? Are you going to have a big day, so you want a nice big breakfast? There's all these things that should be coming into food decisions, and this guy wants you to ignore all of that and just...
No, he's talking about somebody with specific goals. Just stop. I mean, do they play dumb or what? Or I'm not trying to bring the British card into this, but I'm going to have to. British communication is extremely contextual. So you should know the context of what he's talking about, Martin. I expect you to, because British communication is very context driven. So do you understand the context of what he's saying? You're acting like an American in this, which is interesting. Americans are super direct and there's no context, basically, hardly ever, in comparison to British communication. But he should understand what that guy is saying, who he's talking to, what the goal is of what that guy is saying. And I think he probably does, or either that or his brain is fried and he can't do it anymore. It's just zombie activity. But it's like, oh, Olivia Rodrigo would say, you seem pretty sad for a girl so in love. I'm saying, wow, you really don't understand context for a man that's British. You don't understand. I'm a little surprised. Are you all right? I don't think you are. I don't think you're all right. You're either playing dumb and being manipulative or your brain is fried. Either way, it's not good. And I'm not falling for it. My British jacket on, I know. You're not fooling me.
Maximum weight loss. And that is thankfully not his call. Please continue to eat differently to how he's prescribing.
If you have different goals, then absolutely.
What a goose. But also, it's, you know, let's not blame people for bodies just doing what they naturally do as if it's a problem. Let our bodies do what they must. They often know better than we.
Cringe.
That was poetic. Ooh,
No, it was cringe.
ooh, the poem.
And you being like, oh, I was so good. Do our bodies know more than we? Sometimes. I think if you're craving real food, like I was craving oats, then you should probably listen, especially if it's not going away. If you really want ice cream, try to get high quality. If there's something to it, like ice cream is very stimulating. So if you just need energy, you might crave it, but you can limit it. It's like, this is just not rocket science, you guys. Anyways, I was going to possibly do another one, but I don't think I can handle it. I don't think I can handle another one. Okay, you guys. I'm going to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will probably have some quicker videos because I have to try to stockpile a little bit because I'm going to try to get my filming done before my trip. I'll be leaving for my trip on Tuesday. So, yeah, I'm excited. So I want to take like a nice vacation. I do have an activistic video planned probably for when I get back, or maybe I'll post it like on my birthday or something. I like to post stuff on my birthday like that. But I have a lot of work to do. I need to write again. I hate writing, but I need to write another script, and I need to start writing my vanity scripts and my advice and all that crap, and like how to survive vanity era and all that crap. So I have a lot of writing to do, which I have until November when I launch my Olivia era. But I have a lot of work to do. So we love it. We love it. I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.